Welcome to LifeForce Canada Private Member Association Introduction. The next few slides will help you learn the basics of creating your PMA. I'm Laura Jane, and I am the creator of the LifeForce Canada Founders PMA course. So what is a private member association? David Edwards describes a PMA as a private family. The PMA creator is the head of the family, and PMA members are family members. Like in any close family, what is communicated or happens inside a PMA are private matters. In fact, a PMA is a business model that works within the private domain, thus keeping government from intruding in your daily life and/or interfering in your business. In a private member association, men and women collectively assert and stand in their unalienable rights and freedoms for a common cause or community. Unalienable rights can never be given up, taken away, or diminished. That is why they are unalienable. No one can put a lien against these. They are fundamental rights of every man or woman that has claim to them by being born. They are the basis for moral interactions between men and women and are irrevocable. Yes, they are a big deal, which is why they have been hidden from us for so long. PMAs exercise the expression of our God, creator, or universal freedoms through private agreements between men and women. Every man or woman is born in the private with fundamental God, creator, universal rights, such as absolute authority and control of the well-being of his or her body, mind, and spirit, free will choice to associate and assemble with other men and women of their choosing, free will to hold his or her own beliefs and thoughts, free will to express his or her thoughts and opinions. A PMA requires a mindset shift from seeking permission. We have been indoctrinated from early age and throughout our schooling to seek permission, to seize another authority above us. It is a declaration of living in the private and not being a burden to the public. That means that we are not governed by nor expecting government public protection or benefits. A PMA is founder created and member supported. It is a family, not necessarily a democracy. So let's look at the difference between the public and the private domain. The public domain I refer to as a child mindset. The private domain I refer to as an adult mindset. In the public domain, government is basically the public. And that government creates statutes, acts, and mandates, all designed to control us. The public requires permission to do anything. We have to go to daddy to see whether or not we're permitted to do it. Do we get a license? And what certificates are required in order to do what we want to do? So permission is really huge, and that is part of the control mechanism. And also in the public, controls are imposed via threats, coercion, and violence. If you don't do as we say, we will punish you. In the public, no rights are given to anybody. We only have privileges, and these privileges can be granted and they can be taken away, as we have seen over the last 3-4 years. When we are in the child mindset of the public domain, we are relinquishing self-governance. We are assuming that there is someone else to govern over us. The public domain also was created by the government to parent the public, as people needed to be protected from others. And that's what we will hear: for your safety, because we can't do it by ourselves. And the public domain is also based on obligation. The word obligation refers to slavery. You are obligated to listen, to obey, to get permission. So that's the public. That is our child mindset that we've been indoctrinated into. The private, which is the adult mindset, is where we are going. This is one of self-governance. We have no authority over us. We are the authority, and we will stand in that authority. In the private adult, no permission is needed. In the private adult mindset, we naturally follow ethical and moral rules. In the private, we all have equal rights and freedoms. Again, no one is better or above any other man or woman. We also assume responsibility for our actions. If we do not do that, we cannot self-govern. And not only do we assume responsibility, this means we accept the consequences of our actions. And in the private domain, we also help and support each other. This is the way we are built. This is what men and women are doing all the time, help and support each other. We also know that moral and ethical actions of do no harm guides us. And finally, in the private, it is strictly by voluntary engagement. It must be, because in self-governance, we are exercising our free will choice. Therefore, anything that we engage with in the private domain, we do it voluntarily. So if you wanted to create a lawful PMA, what do you need to do that? Well, in fact, a PMA is an unincorporated association. So you could technically set it up with nothing. However, a lawful PMA is supported by paperwork, and this paperwork helps you should you ever be challenged by a government official, an agent. And it consists of three key things. The first is the member agreement. And the member agreement is between you, the founder, and all of those that you invite to join your PMA. And that agreement clearly states things like vision, values, how you're going to work together, what they can expect of you and what you expect of them. It also includes things like changing status and so forth. So the member agreement is the paperwork that the man or woman actually must autograph in order for you to have your PMA. That means that they've read it, they comprehend it, and they are in agreement with it. The next is the PMA Constitution, or administrative processes. And the PMA Constitution really does outline the rules of the pool. In other words, here's what I will do as the founder and how I will support you. And here is the conduct that you are expected to undertake as a member of this PMA. There's a bit more to it, but that's the high level. And Article of Association is included because that is, if you were ever challenged, this would be the only paperwork that you might refer to or show in the public. And the article of association is similar to what you would call an article of incorporation in the public domain. And it includes some official names, and it also is the only piece of paperwork that if you decided you wanted to open a bank account in your PMA name, there's a few things you have to do, but this would be the only thing that you would show because it outlines clearly the leadership team of your PMA, who they are, and what they're responsible for. So a lawful PMA is consisting of these three pieces of paperwork, but there's a lot more than just paperwork. A PMA is from the heart. It is an answer to your soul's call, and it is a way to exercise that contribution to mankind in a way that is not controlled or overreached by the public domain known as government. So if you want to learn how to create a PMA for your business, your farm, well-being center, or community, then you can take a look at lifeforcecanada.ca Academy, and within that academy, you will find the Founders Program. We also have a Sovereign Communities Program, course to look at. And if you just want to reach out to me to find out a little bit more, I am Laura Jane of the family Cote, and I can be reached at ljcote@pm.me. Thank you very much, and I wish you nothing but success with creating your PMA.